My vintage keys vanished from our Capitol Hill rental. Linda admitted she sold them for a phone. My wife defended her, taking $1,500 from our account. I changed the locks, and Emily grabbed a knife. My name is Jake, and I'm a 32-year-old IT guy living in Seattle. I've been married to Emily for 5 years, but our marriage has been a rocky ride, mostly because of her mom, Linda. That woman is a walking hurricane of entitlement. She's the kind of person who demands the world on a silver platter and throws a tantrum when she doesn't get it. I'm not exaggerating. She once screamed at a barista for not making her coffee fast enough. It's exhausting. Our house, a small rental in Capitol Hill, is my sanctuary. Or it was, until Linda started treating it like her personal ATM. She's always asking for handouts. Last month, she showed up at our doorstep, her electric scooter parked crookedly in our driveway, whining about her outdated phone. It was 2 years old, mind you, still perfectly fine. She demanded I buy her a new one, some fancy $1,200 model. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. "No way, Linda," I said, crossing my arms. "I'm not your bank." Her face turned red, eyes bulging like she'd been slapped. She dropped to the floor, right there in my living room, pounding her fists on the hardwood like a toddler. Emily just stood there, biting her lip, not saying a word. I held firm, refusing to budge. Linda stormed out, screaming she'd get that phone one way or another. My stomach twisted. I knew she meant trouble. Emily and I fought that night. She said I was too hard on her mom, that Linda was just stressed. Stressed? I was stressed, working overtime to keep our bills paid while Linda leached off us. I told Emily we needed boundaries, but she shrugged it off, saying, "She's family, Jake." Family doesn't act like that, I thought, but I let it go. Big mistake. See, Linda's always been a problem. She lives in a rundown house in Tacoma, hoarding junk and living off Social Security. Emily's been bailing her out for years, using our joint account like it's her mom's personal piggy bank. I've tried talking to Emily, but it's like talking to a wall. She loves her mom, I get it, but it's killing us. I started noticing cracks in our marriage, little things adding up. Linda's demands, Emily's enabling it was a ticking time bomb. I had no idea how bad it would get. I've always been proud of my vintage skeleton key collection. It's not just a hobby, it's a piece of history, each key telling a story from decades past. I spent 10 years scouring antique shops across Seattle, from Fremont to Ballard, building it up. The collection, displayed in a locked glass cabinet in our Capitol Hill rental, was worth about $5,000. I'd polish those keys, admiring their intricate designs, imagining the doors they once opened. It was my escape from the chaos Linda brought into our lives. Last Tuesday, I came home from work, my head pounding from a long day of debugging code. I glanced at the cabinet in the living room, and my heart stopped. The glass door was ajar, the lock mangled like someone had taken a crowbar to it. My keys were gone, every single one. My knees buckled, and I sank to the floor, staring at the empty shelves. 10 years of work vanished. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I rushed to check our security camera footage. We'd installed a Ring doorbell and an indoor cam after Linda's last unannounced visit. The footage made my blood boil. There she was, Linda, waltzing into our house like she owned it, a crowbar in her hand. She pried open the cabinet, stuffed my keys into a duffel bag, and left, her scooter buzzing down the street. I couldn't believe it. She didn't even try to hide her face. I called her immediately, my hands shaking. "Linda, where are my keys?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. She laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Oh, those tacky things? I sold them at a pawn shop in Pioneer Square. Got myself that new phone you wouldn't buy me." My jaw dropped. She admitted it, no shame, like she was proud. "You owe me, Jake," she added. "If you'd just paid for the phone, this wouldn't have happened." I was livid. She sold my collection, worth thousands. For what? A couple $100? I demanded the pawn shop's name and how much she got. The woman had the nerve to giggle, saying, "Someplace called Seattle Pawn. They gave me $400. Good enough for my phone." I hung up, my vision blurring with rage. I wanted to scream, but I needed evidence. I texted her, baiting her to repeat her confession. "You sold my keys? Tell me exactly what you did." She took the bait, texting back, "Yup, sold your ugly keys to Seattle Pawn. You're a lousy son-in-law," so I helped myself. I saved those texts, every damning word. My mind raced. I could go to the pawn shop, maybe recover my keys, but Linda needed to face consequences. This wasn't just theft, it was personal. She'd crossed a line, and I wasn't letting her walk away. I grabbed my laptop, pulled up the footage again, and made copies. My collection wasn't just money, it was irreplaceable. I thought of Emily, how she'd react. Would she defend her mom again? My stomach churned at the thought. I sat there, staring at the broken cabinet, knowing this was about to blow up our lives. I stood in our Capitol Hill living room, staring at the shattered cabinet, my heart pounding. Linda's smug voice echoed in my head, bragging about selling my $5,000 key collection for a measly $400 phone. My hands shook as I clutched my phone, the texts and camera footage burning a hole in my pocket. I had to tell Emily. She was still at work, managing a coffee shop in downtown Seattle. I waited, pacing, dreading her reaction. Would she side with me, or would she shield her mom again? When Emily got home, her hair in a messy bun, she dropped her purse and froze at the sight of the broken cabinet. "Jake, what happened?" she asked, her voice tight. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Your mom broke in. She stole my keys, sold sold them at Seattle Pawn for a phone. I showed her the footage. Linda, crowbar in hand, looting my collection. Emily's face paled, her eyes darting to the screen. She wouldn't, she whispered, but her voice wavered. She did, I snapped, showing her the texts. She admitted it, Emily. She laughed about it. I waited for her to get angry, to stand with me. Instead, she bit her lip, tears welling up. Jake, she's my mom. She's struggling. Can't we just let it go? My jaw dropped. Let it go? 10 years of my life, my passion, gone, and she wanted me to shrug it off? Those keys are worth thousands, I said, my voice rising. They're not replaceable. She committed a crime. Emily's face hardened. You're overreacting. We can start a new collection. I laughed, bitter and sharp. A new collection? Are you serious? This isn't about money. It's about respect. She flinched, but doubled down. If you go to the cops, Jake, you're tearing our family apart. Her words hit like a slap. Family? All I saw was her enabling Linda's chaos. I shook my head. I'm calling the police. Her eyes widened. If you do this, I'm done, she said, voice trembling. I'll leave you. My chest tightened, but I was past caring. Then leave, I said coldly. She stared, shocked, then grabbed her keys and stormed out. I sat on the couch, my head spinning. Was I the bad guy here? No. Linda stole from me. Emily chose her side. I wasn't backing down. I called the Seattle PD non-emergency line, my voice steady, despite the knot in my stomach. An officer arrived an hour later, a no-nonsense guy named Officer Daniels. I showed him the footage, the texts, and my collection's appraisal documents. This is solid evidence, he said, scribbling notes. We'll handle it. I felt a surge of relief, but also dread. This was real now. Linda would face consequences, and Emily would hate me for it. The police moved fast. They arrested Linda that evening at her Tacoma house, her scooter parked haphazardly in the yard. I got a call from Officer Daniels later. They'd recovered my keys from Seattle Pawn. The shop owner, a gruff guy named Mike, handed them over like they were cursed. Didn't know they were stolen, he grumbled, but I didn't care. My keys were back, every single one, though the cabinet was trashed. I moved the collection to a safe deposit box at a bank in Belltown, away from Linda's reach. Emily came home that night, her face red and puffy. You actually did it, she hissed, slamming her purse down. You had my mom arrested. I stood my ground. She stole from me, Emily. What did you expect? She screamed, tears streaming. She's my mom. You should have let it go. I pointed at the broken cabinet. She broke into our home. She sold my life's work. And you're defending her? She froze, her mouth opening, but no words came out. I'm done with this, I said, my voice low. I'm changing the locks tomorrow. Your mom's banned from this house. Emily's eyes flashed. You can't do that. I stepped closer, my anger boiling. She had a key, Emily. You gave her one without asking me. That's why we're here. She flinched, guilt flickering across her face. You're blowing this out of proportion, she muttered, but it sounded hollow. She grabbed a suitcase, stuffed some clothes in, and left for a motel in Rainier Valley. I didn't stop her. I just sat there, staring at the wall, feeling our marriage crack under the weight of her betrayal. The next morning, Emily texted, demanding I transfer $1,000 for Linda's bail. You got her arrested, you pay, she wrote. I laughed, bitter. Not a chance, I replied. Then I checked our joint account. My stomach dropped. She'd withdrawn $1,500, way more than the bail or the $400 she paid the pawn shop. She was punishing me, dipping into our savings like it was nothing. I called the pawn shop to confirm. Mike, the owner, was furious. Your wife paid me back, but I'm done with your family's drama, he snapped. I got it. I was done too. Emily's betrayal hit me like a freight train. She'd taken $1,500 from our joint account to cover her mom's bail and the pawn shop debt, knowing it was my money too. I stood in our Capitol Hill rental, staring at the broken cabinet, my chest tight with anger. This wasn't just about the keys anymore. It was about respect, trust, and a marriage crumbling under the weight of her loyalty to Linda. I was done. The next morning I called a locksmith. With the landlord's permission, I had every lock on the house changed by noon. The old keys, including the one Emily gave Linda behind my back, were useless now. I texted Emily, locks changed, don't give your mom a new key. She didn't reply, probably fuming at her motel in Rainier Valley. I didn't care. This house was mine too, and I wasn't letting Linda waltz in again. Then I went to our bank in Belltown. My hands shook as I transferred every cent I'd contributed to our joint account, $12,000, into a new personal account. I left just enough to cover the minimum balance, ensuring Emily couldn't touch my money again. I stopped all automatic payments tied to the joint account, from utilities to Netflix. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd protect myself. When I got home, I felt a strange mix of relief and guilt. Was I being too harsh? No, she'd crossed a line. Emily came back that evening, pounding on the door, her face red and puffy. I watched her through the Ring doorbell cam, her screams echoing in the quiet street. Jake, let me in, she shouted. I waited, letting her stew, before opening the door. She stormed in, waving the new key I'd left for her. You changed the locks? Really? She spat. I crossed my arms. You gave your mom a key without asking me. What did you expect? She froze, her eyes darting away. Guilty. You're making this worse, she said, her voice cracking. Just drop the charges against mom, and we can fix this. I laughed, cold and sharp. Fix this? You took $1,500 from our account to clean up her mess. You chose her over me. Her face crumpled, but she didn't deny it. Instead, she tried to guilt me. She's family, Jake. Jake, you're tearing us apart. I stepped closer, my voice low. You tore us apart when you let her steal from me. She stormed off to the spare bedroom, slamming the door. I knew then our marriage was over. I called a divorce lawyer the next day, a sharp woman named Sarah in downtown Seattle. I laid out everything: Linda's theft, Emily's enabling, the money she took. Sarah nodded, her eyes narrowing. You've got a strong case for a clean split, she said. You sure about this? I nodded, my throat tight. I'm done. She started the paperwork, warning me it'd cost a few grand. Worth it, I thought. Freedom always has a price. Emily tried to backtrack over the next few days. She cooked dinner, burnt spaghetti, her usual disaster, and offered me an open beer. I didn't touch it. I don't trust you, I said flatly, pushing the plate away. She cried, saying I was cruel. Cruel? I shot back. You let your mom rob me, then used our money to fix it. That's cruel. She had no answer, just tears. Classic Emily, dodging accountability. Then she dropped a bomb. I was going to let mom move in, she admitted, her voice spiteful. Her house is a mess, and I didn't think you'd care. My blood ran cold. Move Linda in? Without asking me? We're equal partners, I said, my voice shaking. You don't get to decide that alone. She smirked, like she'd won something. I'd have done it while you were at work. I pointed at her, my anger boiling over. If you try, I'll throw her stuff out myself. She gasped, then stormed off, muttering about my attitude. I served her divorce papers at her coffee shop a week later. She called me, furious. You embarrassed me in front of my co-workers, she screamed. I stayed calm. You embarrassed yourself when you chose your mom over me. She hung up, but I knew she was shaken. She hadn't thought I'd go through with it. That night, she tried love bombing, walking around in lingerie, touching my arm, whispering apologies. I stonewalled her. It's too late, I said, walking away. She cried, but I felt nothing. The woman I loved was gone, replaced by someone I couldn't trust. I started apartment hunting, eyeing a one-bedroom in Fremont, close to my IT job. It needed repairs, but the rent was half our houses, and I could bike to work. Emily kept prying, asking where I was moving. I didn't tell her. No way I'd let her or Linda near my new life. I also warned our landlord about Emily's plan to move Linda in. He was livid, especially about the key incident. She's not renewing the lease alone, he said. I'll advertise the place soon. I nodded, relieved. Emily didn't know yet, but she'd find out soon enough. I was done letting Linda ruin my life. Her theft of my $5,000 key collection, Emily's betrayal, it was too much. But there was one more thing eating at me. Linda's house in Tacoma. I'd been there a few times, and it was a nightmare. Piles of rotting garbage, stacks of junk blocking every corner, and the stench of rodent droppings. It wasn't just a mess, it was a health hazard. I'd heard about hoarders causing fires, and I wasn't letting Linda's chaos hurt anyone else. So, I made a call. I found a number for Tacoma's fire marshal and reported her house anonymously. I described the mold, the rats, the stacks of newspapers teetering like towers. I didn't mention the keys or our feud, just the danger. I thought nothing would come of it. Weeks passed, and I focused on my divorce, my new apartment in Fremont, anything to move forward. Then Emily came home one night, her face twisted with rage. You reported my mom's house? She screamed, slamming the door of our Capitol Hill rental. I froze, my heart racing. How did she know? The fire marshal inspected her place, she continued, tears streaming. It's a disaster: black mold, exposed wires, roof leaks. They're condemning it. My stomach churned. I hadn't meant for it to go this far, but I stood my ground. It was a hazard, Emily. Someone had to report it. She lunged at me, pointing a finger. You did this to spite her. I shook my head. No, I did it because it's dangerous. If I didn't, someone else would have. She wasn't hearing it. Mom's losing her home because of you, she yelled. Then she dropped the bomb. She flipped out on me today, Jake. She hit me, scratched me, pulled my hair, then she collapsed. Heart attack. She's gone. Her voice broke, and she sank onto the couch, sobbing. I stood there, stunned. Linda, dead? My mind reeled. I hated her, but I didn't want this. What happened? I asked, my voice hoarse. Emily glared through her tears. She had a weak heart. You never knew because you never cared. She attacked me when I said I couldn't afford to fix her house. Then she just stopped breathing. She called 911, but it was too late. A police officer brought her home, probably to keep her from losing it completely. It's your fault, she spat, her eyes wild. You reported her, pushed her over the edge. I felt a pang of guilt, sharp and heavy. Had I caused this? I shook my head. Emily, her house was a death trap, and she attacked you. That's on her. She didn't reply, just cried harder. I walked away, my chest tight. I locked myself in the master bedroom, staring at the ceiling, guilt and anger swirling. Linda's heart condition wasn't my fault, but reporting her house? That was my call. I did it out of anger, but it needed to be done, didn't it? Linda's death hit me harder than I expected. I sat in our Capitol Hill rental, the silence deafening, replaying Emily's words. Your fault, she'd screamed. The guilt gnawed at me, but so did the truth. Linda stole my $5,000 key collection. Emily enabled her, took money from our account, chose her mom over me. I wasn't the villain here, was I? I moved to the couch, staring at the broken cabinet, my mind a mess. The divorce papers were served. Emily barely spoke to me now, her eyes red and distant. She moved her things to the spare bedroom, leaving me the master. I didn't care. I'd found a one-bedroom apartment in Fremont, a fresh start near my IT job. The lease on this house ends in March, and I'm out as soon as my new place is ready. I'll take the guest bed I paid for, leave the rest. Emily can deal deal with the furniture, the memories, her mom's mess. I packed my keys in a safe deposit box in Belltown, far from anyone's reach. My lawyer, Sarah, is pushing for a clean split. Emily and I earn about the same, so no alimony, no drama. I just want out. I warned our landlord about Emily's plan to move Linda in. He's not renewing her lease and she doesn't know yet. Let her figure it out. I'm done carrying her. Looking back, I loved Emily once, but she changed. Or maybe I never saw the real her. She wanted a wallet, not a husband. Reporting Linda's hoarder house was petty, I admit. I was angry. But that place was a fire trap mold. Rats, exposed wires. If I hadn't called, someone else would have. Still, her death weighs on me. Did I push too far? Was I wrong to stand up for myself? To protect my collection? My peace? I don't know. Aita for reporting her. For ending my marriage over this. I'm ready for a new chapter. I'll bike to work, rebuild my savings, maybe start collecting again. But for now, I just want to be free. Free from Linda's chaos, Emily's betrayal, and the guilt I shouldn't carry. What do you think?